The sound of a heavy metal door slamming shut reverberates in the stillness, signaling the start of another day behind bars. The narrator, the voice that guides us through these stark realities, reflects on the cold, unyielding environment of the prison. Echoes of clanging chains and distant shouts meld into a haunting soundscape, illustrating the oppressive weight of confinement that envelops the inmates within these concrete walls. Each corridor is a silent witness to dreams lost and lives derailed, yet occasionally, traces of laughter break through the somber ambiance, hinting at the resilience that flickers within. As he shares his journey from inmate to activist, the narrator invites us to listen closely, to uncover the layers of humanity trapped within these walls. His mission to illuminate the struggles and triumphs of those incarcerated begins gently, yet with a determination that promises to resonate deeply as we delve into the lives of those who navigate this complex world. Marcus Doc Jones once stood at the pinnacle of success, a gifted surgeon revered in his community. But beneath the accolades lay a fierce battle with addiction, a struggle that culminated in a tragic accident, forever altering the course of his life. Now, confined within the cold, unyielding walls of the prison, Marcus wakes each day to the rhythmic sounds of rattling metal and murmured voices, a stark reminder of his fall from grace. In solitude, he grapples with guilt and remorse, yet he finds solace in the structured routine of mandatory group therapy sessions. Each meeting serves as a lifeline, allowing him to share his story and connect with others who bear the weight of their pasts. These encounters ignite a flicker of hope within Marcus, compelling him to embrace his responsibility, not just for his own healing, but to guide fellow inmates on their journeys toward recovery and redemption. Marcus found purpose within the prison walls by extending a hand to those around him. Each day in group therapy sessions, he witnessed the pain and struggles of his fellow inmates, men and women grappling with their pasts, seeking forgiveness and solace. He shared his own story, not as a way to garner sympathy, but to show that redemption was possible. Through his words, he encouraged others to confront their demons and embrace the possibility of healing. In intimate conversations, Marcus listened carefully, imparting his medical knowledge to help alleviate physical ailments and emotional wounds alike. He discovered that vulnerability could foster connection, and each shared experience became a thread in the fabric of their collective recovery. The sound of laughter and tears echoed through the stark hallways, weaving a tapestry of hope that softened the concrete around them. In those moments, Marcus felt the dawning realization that he was not just an inmate, he was part of a community striving to heal. Sofia Rivera stands before the blank prison wall, her heart racing with a mixture of hope and trepidation. In this suffocating environment where despair often reigns, she seeks solace through her art. With each stroke of the brush, she reveals her soul, transforming the cold concrete into vibrant murals that tell the stories of herself and those around her. Her narrative is intertwined with the heartbreaking reason for her incarceration, protecting her younger brother from harm. As she paints, the colors pulse with energy, echoing the dreams of freedom and resilience that linger in the hearts of her fellow inmates. Sofia shares her artistic journey, expressing how each mural becomes a source of inspiration, fostering a sense of community and hope amongst the bars. In a world where silence is often deafening, her art resonates with the power to uplift, reminding everyone that creativity can thrive even in the darkest places. Sofia's journey into the world of art became a lifeline amid the concrete confines of the prison. Armed with vibrant paints and a vision, she transformed the drab, gray walls of her cell block into canvases bursting with color and emotion. Each mural she created emerged from a deeply personal place, reflecting not only her dreams, but the silent stories of her fellow inmates. The first piece, a phoenix rising from ashes, symbolized her own rebirth from despair, while intricate depictions of community and hope began to weave together the narratives of those around her. As Sofia painted, she engaged her fellow inmates in conversations about their lives, drawing out laughter, shared memories, and unhealed wounds. The murals became a collective voice, resonating through the prison halls, sparking inspiration and camaraderie as they turned an oppressive environment into a sanctuary of resilience and creativity. merging their struggles into a tapestry of hope. Liam Lucky Sullivan's journey into prison life began long before he found himself behind bars. A product of a fractured home and the streets that beckoned with promises of belonging, he fell into the clutches of gang culture. He had always craved acceptance, a bond he found amidst the chaos of his peers, but it came with the heavy price of escalating crime and violence. In Candid Reflections, he speaks of the allure of camaraderie, the thrill of reckless adventures, but deep down, he wrestles with a haunting emptiness. The walls of the prison echo with his regrets. Each clang of the cell door reverberates like the choices that have led him here. As he navigates this new reality, Liam confronts the ghosts of his past decisions, yearning to break free from the cycle that has defined him and seeking a way to reclaim his identity, not just as Lucky, but as someone deserving of a second chance. Liam's journey to break away from the gang culture that had defined his life became an uphill battle, echoing through the metal walls of the prison. Each day presented a fresh temptation, a whisper from the past urging him to conform. During nighttime hours, he often joined others in the dimly lit common area, sharing stories and reflecting on their choices. These conversations peeled back layers of vulnerability, revealing the trauma that lay beneath their bravado. One evening, as the flickering fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, Liam stood before a small group of inmates, courage swelling within him. He spoke openly of his fears, how his need for acceptance had led him down a path of darkness. In sharing his pain, he discovered a fraternity of souls, each wrestling with their own demons. Together, they forged an unbreakable bond, igniting a collective desire for redemption that replaced their old loyalties with newfound strength. Renee Thompson's story is one of heartbreak and resilience, a poignant reminder of the consequences of a flawed justice system. Once a dedicated teacher, her life took a tumultuous turn when she was wrongfully convicted of a crime she didn't commit. As the heavy clang of metal doors marked her entry into prison, the transition felt surreal, a perverse reality for someone who spent her life shaping young minds. Initial days blurred in despair and confusion, yet amid the bleak conditions, Renee clung to her passion for education. Determined to reclaim her purpose, she devoted herself to learning, often escaping the prison's harsh realities by immersing herself in books. Soon, she began to share that knowledge, initiating classes for fellow inmates, sparking a thirst for learning that had been extinguished in many. Through her tireless commitment, Renee transformed despair into empowerment, igniting hope and the belief that education could ignite change, both for herself and those who sat in darkness beside her. Renee Thompson immersed herself in the prison's stark educational landscape, determined to turn despair into opportunity. Despite her wrongful conviction, she exuded a fervent passion for teaching, believing that knowledge could indeed set her and others free. She began by gathering a small group of inmates, sharing her own story and igniting a spark of hope within them. Together, they created a makeshift classroom, using whatever materials they could find, tattered textbooks, scraps of paper, and a shared desire to learn. As the days turned into weeks, Renee saw transformations unfold. Inmates who once felt hopeless began to embrace their potential, engaging in heated discussions and collaborating on projects. The sound of laughter and passionate debates replaced the echoes of despair. Their joy became palpable, proving that education was not merely a tool for change, but also a pathway to empowerment. Renee's mission resonated deeply, reinforcing her resolve to fight for justice, not just for herself, but for all those who remained unheard. The prison hums with an undercurrent of connection, threads of shared experiences weaving together the lives of Marcus, Sophia, Liam, and Renee. In the humble confines of their cells, laughter and whispered confessions echo through the darkness, creating a fragile tapestry of friendship amidst despair. Marcus finds solace in nights spent discussing redemption, while sharing wisdom from therapy, inspiring hope in his fellow inmates. Sophia's vibrant murals breathe life into the dreary walls, igniting conversations that transcend pain, turning them into stories of resilience. Liam, often at the fringes, slowly integrates his past trauma with the empathy he learns from his companions, questioning the choices that led him to this place. Renee's passion for education becomes a unifying force, fostering intellectual curiosity among her peers. It's in these moments, filled with vulnerability and strength, that they confront their pasts together, discovering that even within concrete walls, genuine connections can flourish, nurturing a flicker of hope for their futures. Tensions rise within the prison as whispers of discontent ripple through the corridors, echoing against cold steel walls. Marcus feels a knot tighten in his stomach, sensing the charged atmosphere. Inmates gather in small groups, their hushed conversations punctuated by occasional shouts from across the yard. Sophia, sketching in her cell, pauses as she hears the distant sound of fists hitting metal, signs of unrest brewing. Liam's charm fades amidst the anxious energy. He recalls the gang rivalries that could ignite the situation. Meanwhile, Renee, ever the advocate for peace, senses the urgency to intervene before chaos ensues. The four friends exchange glances, unspoken fears hanging heavily in the air. They know that as allies forged in shared struggles, their chances for survival, physically and emotionally, rest in unity. The threat of violence looms large, compelling them to confront not only the external chaos, but also the inner demons that challenge their resolve. Amid the mounting tension, the atmosphere within the prison thickened as the air crackled with unease. Inmates whispered in corners, eyes darting nervously as they sensed the impending chaos. Marcus, Sophia, Liam, and Renee exchanged urgent glances. They understood that this wasn't just another day behind bars. This was a turning point. As the first shouts erupted, shaking the foundation of their daily existence, panic swept through the hallways. Each of them faced a critical choice: to flee or confront the storm. Marcus felt the weight of his past decisions pressing against him, igniting a fierce determination to protect those around him. Liam, fueled by a desire to redefine his identity, stepped forward to lead, while Sophia and Renee exchanged resolute nods, ready to face the chaos together. In those harrowing moments, unity emerged as the only path forward, igniting a sense of purpose amid the upheaval that would ultimately define their journey. As the chaos of the riot escalated, Marcus, Sophia, Liam, and Renee found themselves standing together, united by an instinctive drive to protect one another. The echoes of shouting and clanging metal reverberated through the halls, a stark reminder of the thin line between despair and hope. In this moment of crisis, the vulnerabilities that had previously divided them transformed into a powerful bond. Marcus stepped forward, voice steady, encouraging the others to join him in calming the frayed nerves of their fellow inmates. Sophia, fueled by her artistic spirit, suggested using the murals they had assembled as a canvas for collective expression, a way to channel the turmoil into something meaningful. Liam's charm became a source of persuasion, reminding those caught in the frenzy of their shared humanity. Together they orchestrated a delicate balance of courage and empathy, revealing the strength within vulnerability as they faced the storm together.